Well, welcome back. At 17 years of age, did you know what you wanted to do with the rest of your life? To help teens with this decision, here's Daryl Gardner, Rebecca McEwen and Colin Salisbury. Guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming in. Interesting topic. I guess, first of all, what we need to determine or work out, what is gap year? Daryl?
Well, I think it's a term that's come up in the last 10, 15 years, and basically it's a period between leaving high school and starting university is the usual term for it. It's usually a year. It's not a scientific rule, but largely it's where young people, rather than going straight to university, go off and do something for a year, usually involving travel. Not always, but usually involving travel and before they get to doing their studies.
What do you guys all think about this gap year? Do you think that people should move into studies straight away, or should they have a break? Colin?
Sure. I think, you know, the gap year for young people gives people an opportunity to kind of get to know themselves a bit better, experience the world, to kind of have that experience where you can kind of go and do something in another place, meet another culture, and really have that kind of allows you to grow as a person. Yeah. And I think it's quite important.
Because you have an organisation that does those type of things. Tell us what you do for kids in that interim year. Or that.
Sure. I run the Global Volunteer Network, and we're a Lower Hutt-based New Zealand organisation. We place volunteers all around the world, 21 countries, and we place them into projects and into communities that there's this real need. So these are volunteers helping in schools, orphanages, doing environmental work, doing working with wildlife, and for the gap year people, it's really an opportunity to really give of themselves. Kind of, get their hands a little dirty, get their body there, experience frustrations, other cultures, working in a team. Those kind of skills are really important for young people to learn.
Well, what's the criteria for somebody if they're wanting to do something like this?
Sure, it depends on the project and where they're placed. But really, if anyone's keen to go, and they, and as long as they haven't got a record, and we have all those processes that check people out. But it's really, we can provide an experience for people, no matter what their background or experience, and it really allows them to kind of grow as a person. So.
Now, Rebecca, it wasn't that long ago that you'd left school, but you'd sort of done something similar to what Colin's talked about.
Yes.
Tell us about what it was like for you when you were finishing, and I guess the decisions that you had to make.
Well, I left school after 7th form, and I decided straight away that university wasn't for me straight away, because I didn't know what I wanted to do right out of school. I wanted to not be one of those people that goes to university and just studies a subject just for the sake of it, then leaves university and realises that, what am I going to do with this degree? So I went overseas with a company called Projects Abroad, which is similar to Colin's network, and I went to Romania for several months, and also to Ghana in West Africa. And the life skills that I picked up just from having a gap year was something that I think I would have missed out on if I just jumped straight from study to study. So I'm a huge fan of the gap year. I sometimes pity my peers who have gone to university and are now struggling with that big question, what am I going to do in my life? Because when I came back from overseas, I fell quite easily into work, and work that I really enjoy. So,
were you getting pressure from anywhere to go to university from people?
I was, from certain areas of my life, family members who sort of thought perhaps university, because I should be using my brain and things like that, that university was the way to go. I think I've since perhaps proven them wrong, because there are so many more opportunities that have been opened up to me from travelling and growing like that. So.
Daryl, that's an interesting thing, is the pressures that from outside influence, maybe uncles, aunties, family, something that a lot of teenagers have to deal with. What would you say in that situation?
Well, we have to understand the basic intent of parents and family members and so on who say, don't do that, go to university, is good. The basic intent is good, and it's usually around the issues of economics. They say, look, go to university, get your degree, then you'll be able to get a job for the rest of your life and you'll be economically secure and so on. It's a bit of a myth, actually, in this day and age, firstly. But secondly, what I would say to them is, for some young people it is appropriate to go straight to university, but for many others, just like Rebecca and like Colin has through the Global Volunteer Network, what actually happens is when young people go out for a year or so, particularly if they have something with purpose, like we've just heard from Rebecca, they travel, they help, they serve others, what actually happens is they come back and they're better students. And they actually do better in a job. So parents shouldn't freak out. This is not that they're going out and they'll never go to university, they'll never study and they'll never get a job again. That's a myth. I think what parents have to do, it's okay to have an expectation they go. It shouldn't be pressure, because if you do pressure young people, and I've had a bit of work to do in the university in this area, too many young people go to university, they end up desperately unhappy. They often drop out or they don't do well at university, and it almost becomes a bit of a resentment in their life, and they're not healthy as adults. I mean, you've been in high school and primary school for 10 years or more by this stage. So to actually go out for a year and mature, grow up, individuate more, particularly with a purpose, can be a very healthy thing. So I say to parents, relax.
Colin, how do you instill that confidence, though? Because, you know, this is your little girl or your little boy that's growing up now, he's a teenager, and he's going over to the other side of the world. How do you deal with that situation with the families, with the parents, to sort of give them some confidence that they're going to be looked after?
Yeah, I often get questions and you know, talk on the phone with, you know, mum or dad about it. For me, it's... When I've been talking to them and, you know, and you chat with them and kind of talk about where they're going, explain the village they're going into, the people that are there. You know, we have people on the ground who are there. They get met at the airport. They're holding up a sign saying, you know, welcome, Rebecca. I'm really happy you're here in Ghana. And so, you know, and you know, when they're there, we can kind of interact, and the parents can ring them if they want to. In a lot of our projects, we hand cell phones to the people when they come, so they can text and communicate and things like that. So
there is that communication while they're there as well.
And that's really important. And I often get letters from, you know, mums and dad afterwards just saying, I can't believe the difference in, you know, Jane or Johnny. It's just, you know, they're now just bubbly. They really have a kind of a purpose in terms of what they want to do with their lives. And it's just a really cool thing to see that.
Great advice. Thank you so much for all of you for coming on the show today. I actually recommend doing those type of things. I think it's great to have a gap year, and it's great experience and great life skills that kids can move on with the rest of their life. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Well, coming up, the political panel.